What is the Book of Enoch and what should Christians are familiar? Contingent upon what Christian foundation you come from, you might have known about the Book of Enoch, but it's excluded from the Holy Book. The Book of Enoch is viewed as in the classification of Pseudepigrapha, meaning this book was composed under a pseudonymous name, which are dishonestly credited works. The creator professes to be somebody yet isn't really the genuine creator. Pseudonymous works were normal during the time the good book was composed. Who was Enoch in the Bible? There are 4 distinct men in the Book of Scriptures named Enoch, beginning 4:17, 5:18, 25:4, 46:9. Notwithstanding, it ought to be noticed that the NIV gives the name Hanok, while different interpretations utilize the name Enoch. Hanok in Hebrew means Enoch, beginning 4:17, 5:18. A few interpretations utilize an alternate spelling, like Hancock or Hanok. Enoch was the incredible extraordinary grandson of Adam. According to beginning 5:22-24, after he became the dad of Methuselah, Enoch strolled loyally with God 300 years and had different children and little girls. Out and out, Enoch carried on with a sum of 365 years. Enoch strolled dependably with God, then, at that point, he was no more, since God removed him. Enoch was additionally the incredible extraordinary granddad of Noah. We can likewise find more text on Enoch in the lobby of confidence found in Jude 11:5, leaning on an unshakable conviction Enoch was taken from this life, so he didn't encounter demise, he was unable to be found, since God had removed him. For before he was taken, he was lauded as one who satisfied God. It is intriguing to take note of that most, except at least for now that being removed is what Enoch is generally notable for, as well as Elijah. The 2 men were the main 2 individuals the Holy Book references in which they were picked by God to get away from death. Enoch seems to have been given this honor since he strolled dependably with God and satisfied God. The Book of Scriptures doesn't make reference to the motivation behind God taking Enoch to paradise, however the most well-known. The good book doesn't specify the reason for God taking Enoch to paradise, yet the most widely recognized supposition that will be that he could act as one of the 2 observers as a component of the final days. The other observer is accepted to the prophet Elijah. Jude likewise specifies Enoch, which is a prediction in Jude 14 verses 14-15. Enoch, the 7th from Adam, forecasted about these men. See, the ruler is accompanying heaps of his sacred ones to pass judgment on everybody, and to convict all the profane of the multitude of wicked demonstrations they have done in the corrupt manner, and of the multitude of brutal words indecent delinquents have criticized him. Why was the Book of Enoch eliminated? Since the Book of Enoch is ascribed to Enoch doesn't imply that it is composed by him, motivated by God, or that it ought to be in the Book of Scriptures. It is intriguing to take note of that no researchers really accept the Book of Enoch was truly composed by Enoch himself. Not exclusively is the Book of Enoch viewed as a pseudepigraphal composing, being a spurious writing is likewise thought of. Spurious compositions imply that it ought to be valid and right, yet it is as a matter of fact bogus and frequently generally off base. While perusing spurious texts, they ought to be treated as frail verifiable texts. Conversely, the Book of Scriptures ought to be treated as the roused, reliable, and definitive expression of God. You can peruse a duplicate of the Book of Enoch here. Yet, kindly do as such with watchfulness and insight. Jim Hamilton, a teacher of scriptural religious philosophy at the Southern Baptist Philosophical Theological School, says, all understudies of the Holy Book would do well to familiarize themselves with 1 Enoch, as it gives an entrancing investigate how the OT was deciphered in the years preceding the introduction of Jesus. Particularly huge gives off an impression of being the book's messiah. Are there any books of scriptures that have the Book of Enoch? Beyond the Ethiopian Standard Church, there are no books of scriptures nor sections that except 1 Enoch is supernaturally roused by God. Notwithstanding, Jews remember it for the unauthenticated written work as outside texts. The Book of Enoch is likewise called the Book of Enoch, or 1 Enoch, the Book of the Privileged Insights of Enoch, or 2 Enoch, and the Jewish Book of Enoch, or 3 Enoch. Most accept these books were not supernaturally enlivened sacred text despite the fact that it contains a few realities. Due to the references in different books like Jude and Jews, it was different early places of worship considered. 1 Enoch thought about the book as a piece of sacred text and was sanctified in the 300 years. Afterward, when the book of scriptures was sanctified, the Book of Enoch was taken out. How could it be concluded what books of Book of Scriptures could be incorporated? The expression standard is utilized to portray the books of the Holy Book that are supernaturally propelled by God. Figuring out what is supernaturally motivated was an interaction that initially started by Jewish rabbis and researchers. Despite the fact that people started this cycle, it ought to be noted God at last concluded what had a place in the Book of Scriptures. It involved God coordinating and motivating the journalists of the good book as well as the people who started the most calm. This interaction started with the group of the Jewish sacred text. The first, ordinance, was the Muratorian group which was accumulated in Promotion 170 which incorporated all of the new confirmation with the exception of James, Jews, John 3 and 1 and 2 Peter. The principal standard was the Muratorian group, which was accumulated in Promotion 170. The Muratorian group incorporated all of the new confirmation books with the exception of Jews, James, 1 and 2 Peter, and 3 John. In Promotion 363, the Gathering of Laodicea considered the Hebrew Scripture and 26 books of the new confirmation as accepted and to be perused in temples. This included almost everything aside from disclosures. Afterward, the Board of Hippo, Promotion 393, and the Gathering of Carthage, Promotion 397, additionally insisted every one of the 27 books of the New Demonstration to be viewed as supernaturally enlivened. The accompanying standards to figure out what was viewed as the legitimate expression of God included, was the creator a missionary or have a nearby association with a messenger? Was the essayist verified by supernatural occurrences or others to affirm the message? Does the book mirror, crafted by the essence of God concerning high ethics and other worldly qualities? Does the book have the heavenly ability to change lives? Was the text steady with the overall principle and universal instructing? Is the text acknowledged by the assemblage of Christ at large? Was it acknowledged as God's promise by individuals to whom it was first conveyed? Notwithstanding these human standards, it is urgent to recollect that God and God alone resolved what might be in the Book of Scriptures. We really do be aware no ifs, ands, or buts. Our methodologies are not God's methodologies. Sacred writing reminds us, 2 Timothy 3 verse 16, all sacred writing is inhaled out by God and productive for educating, for denunciation, for adjustment, and for preparing in nobility. Jews 4:12, for the expression of God is living and dynamic, more honed than any blade that cuts both ways, piercing to the division of soul, of joints, and of marrow, and knowing the contemplations and aims of the heart. Deuteronomy 4 verse 2, you should not add to or deduct from what I order you, so you might keep the rules of the Master your God that I am giving you. Isaiah 55 verses 8-9, for my viewpoints are not your contemplations, nor are your ways my methodologies, proclaims the Master. As the sky are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your methodologies and my contemplations than your viewpoints. The human course of gathering these books is defective, yet God in His sway understands what we really want to sustain our spirits and gave a profound compass through His promise. All in all, God's statement was enlivened and legitimate from its origin. It stands firm in the sky. Song 119:89. Related asset. Look at our free Book of Scriptures study digital recording, How to Concentrate on the Holy Book. Accessible at lifeaudio.com. Pay attention to the principal episode here by tapping the. That's all, we see you soon and thank for watching.